how do you sort of shift in and out of all these different studios and styles and movies and things, and yet maintain your own distinct look?
Yeah, boy, I guess with anybody, because I get jealous of other artists that have a distinct look, and then you realize, God, I want my look to look like theirs, or why can't mine be so individual like theirs? Like Robert Valley comes to mind right away. Like, wow, what a like style, and how do I get my style to be that distinct? And then you realize, and I'm a Beatles fan. The Beatles, like their early albums, half of the songs would be cover songs. So they were trying to imitate Elvis, or they were trying to imitate Chuck Berry, or, Buddy Holly. And then I guess you just like, it's like a cook, you're never going to invent any like new ingredient, but you're taking these ingredients, and as you put them together, I guess the Beatles form their style. And I think that's just kind of what happens with an artist. You take all the things that you love and that you can do, and if you really stick to it, something will develop.
Okay, that makes sense. And you have several personal projects: classic Superman, Flash Gordon, Carman, which I thought.
Yeah, thanks.
Yeah, I thought Carman was. I laughed out loud. It was very entertaining.
Oh, thank you.
Yes, yeah.
Man, 8,000,001 cars in the city and only 8 million parking spaces. Well, would you look at that? Aren't we special? Man, he must be a total jerk. I guess I could leave him a note, but do you think he'd really learn anything by that? Really? Think about it. Too cool for me, huh?
So kind of you talk about this a little bit on your YouTube channel, just in terms of the genesis of Superman, the Superman project. But, let's kind of start there. Like what drew you to that, and to, it has a sort of vintage feel, but also sort of very modern and very you. Can you talk about that?
Thanks for noticing everything that I'm trying to put into it. But yeah, that came out of, and this is like a lesson. Like I'm saying, you always are growing, you're always learning. And, this career is going to have ups and downs. And I had a down part of my career, 2D kind of was over. But when Disney laid us off, I asked, can I buy my animation desk? It's really sentimental to me. And they let me buy it, and I brought it home. So I had this animation desk at home. And then, gosh, I got into a really ugly place where you feel like your career is not going where you want it to go. And I was getting jealous of colleagues that were getting opportunities that I felt like I was more deserving of. And after a while, I didn't like being cynical, and I didn't like these ugly feelings I was having. And I kind of was like wrestling with them. Like, I don't want to be jealous of other people. And I'm mad that I'm not getting these opportunities. But then I really was like, this is the hard thing to do for anybody who's feeling entitled. Check yourself, because I had the conversation with myself where I said, Rob, what have you done to like prove that you deserve these opportunities? You've animated something, but how does somebody know that you can write something, or you can board something, or direct something? You haven't proven it. And if you're really, really talented, then you got to put your money where your mouth is. You've got to show them. And if you have that talent can't be held down. You need to prove it, and you're not entitled to anything. So I'm working jobs, and I had a job that was fine, but it was not like at the level that I thought I was, that I was hoping that I was aspirational for. And so I thought, well, I can do this job, but I can't lose that thing that, like, at the beginning of the Disney career, I did my in-betweens during the day, and I worked at night to move up. I got to keep doing that. I'm going to do my normal job during the day, and I'm going to be happy, and I'm going to be respectful, and I'm not going to be entitled. And at night, I'm going to do what I do. And the show I'm working on, okay, maybe it's not the most artistically satisfying show, but I've got this desk. I've got this magic desk at home. I can animate whatever I want on this thing. So I had it in my head, like, well, I'm just going to animate something. If I'm as good as I think I am, I got to prove it. And then, maybe the universe, the stars aligned or whatever. I'm going to this Halloween event with my little kids where you're throwing little bags into prize things. And I see John Hames Newton there. And I lean to my wife and I go, I think that guy played Superboy when I was a kid. And my wife's not a nerd like me. So she's like, she didn't know. I don't know who, but she's like, if you know what, maybe introduce yourself. Maybe he'd be flattered that somebody remembered him, that he impacted you. So I went up and I introduced myself to John and I said, were you Superboy? And even John went, how did you recognize me? And I just like, dude, you do not know who you're dealing with. And we hit it off. And John is a great guy. He's still a dear friend. And I couldn't believe we drove away from that event with my wife. And I'm like, gosh, what if we became friends? What if we hung out and I knew Superboy? And it did play out that way because John is such a great guy. So while I'm wrestling with, I have this desk, I can animate whatever I want. And I just met John Newton and I love Superman. I love Superman. When I was a little kid, I was, the Chris Reeve movie hadn't come out yet when I was really little. And I even loved the George Reeve series as a little kid. And I remember seeing the first image of Christopher Reeve as the new Superman on the cover of a newspaper. And I was like, oh my God, the guy has the curl on his hair. He looks exactly like Superman. Oh my, I can't wait. And I saw the movie and I went nuts. I love that movie and the John Williams music. And oh my God, it just fueled this love for this character. I loved him so much. And, but out of all of that, in my 20s, they resurrected these long lost cartoons that Tom Hatton didn't play for me on Sunday morning that the Fleischers did. The Fleischers did Superman cartoons. And I saw one at a festival and my eyes popped out of my head. It was the most gorgeous thing I've ever seen in my life. And then I went to comic book conventions because back then, no internet. I had to find a VHS copy that had all 17 of these Fleischer cartoons. And I loved them. And as much as I love Reeve and as much as I love George Reeves, I think that it's my favorite version of Superman. They're so dramatic. The lighting is so bold and they're stylish and the setting and just gorgeous movement. So I thought, okay, I'm going to animate Superman. That's kind of like the Fleischers, but I love Christopher Reeves separating Clark Kent from Superman and pushing his glasses up. And I made a list of all the things that I would want to put like my greatest hits of Superman, everything I love about him, and Art Deco buildings and kind of like the Fleischer backgrounds. But then there was this architect, Hugh Ferris, that did beautiful architectural drawings. What if the short looked like his drawings? And so I gathered up a lot of this material, a couple images from the Sky Captain and the World of Tomorrow, which is influenced by the Fleischer Supermans. And I made this presentation to John Newton. I said, I want to animate a Superman thing. And I want it to look like this. And before I could even finish my sentence, John, super guy, said, I will voice this for you. And my wife, Jennifer, can do Lois Lane. And now it had to happen. And I love that John Williams music, but I thought, gosh, wouldn't it be great if I found like something more obscure and not known? And so there's the Kirk Alyn series of Superman that has this, again, dramatic, like the Fleischer, dramatic music. And it's 1 minute long. And I thought, maybe I can animate 1 minute and I can animate it to this music, kind of like Fantasia, where the music already existed, but now you're animating to that music. And it seems like it was scored to picture. So I now had a thing to put on my timeline and he's going to do a punch on that thing. And I kind of storyboarded it. And just like you time animation, I had to storyboard it and constantly time it with the music and get it working. And it became an obsession. I had to work on it every night, and I was a family man. My kids are little. I didn't want to miss out on family time. So I waited till everybody went to bed and then I got back up and I started, I would draw this thing and it took about a year to do. And what was great is all of those feelings of being jealous, all of those cynical feelings, they all melted away. And even if I got notes at work on something where I felt like I know better, I don't like this note, I realized, this is my job. You're paying me to do this. This is your vision. Yeah, give me the note. I'm going to do your note because that's what you want. Because when I go home, I get to do what I want, Superman, the way I want. And he's going to look the way it's going to be 1930s and it's going to look the way I want. He's going to have a fedora. And I found like this balance in life, and it's helped my whole career since then, where I don't get as frustrated at work. You still got to be passionate and care about what you do, but I don't get negative feelings about things when they don't go my way, because I have a thing to go home. And I don't have the collaboration at home that I have at work, where I have great artists to work with. But I also don't have to compromise. I can do it the way I want. If I was doing it for Warner Brothers, maybe they would say, well, we don't want him to have his little red shorts. Nope. In my cartoon, he's going to have his little red shorts. I don't have to compromise.
And then you also did classic Flash Gordon. But I think you did something kind of with it, just with the look of it and the red sky and the very kind of fluid animation. Could you just get into that briefly?
Yeah. So Superman, it kind of blew up in a way that you hope, and in a way that you can't ever expect. But I think because all the Superman fan pages blogged about it, and suddenly the views were like, wow, it's over like 600 million views now, or 600,000 views now. And Variety wrote it up. Hollywood Reporter wrote it up. The Howard Stern Show had me on their Geek Time segment. Like it was great. And then Warner's even called me and said, hey, do you want to do some of these official ones? And of course, yes. But, without getting into too many details, it's Hollywood, and it didn't happen. It's like, oh, it's another career down, another just like 2D dying at Disney. It was like so sad when it didn't happen, because I thought it was going to happen for a while. And in that time, I animated a second one, Bizarro. Mm-hmm. And Warner's was a little bit like, hey, we were very supportive that you did one, and that was awesome. But look, we're cool with that, but don't do a series. Be respectful. And then I'm like, oh, okay, I'll stop, which is too bad, because I have like Bizarro Classic is in full animatic with the voices recorded. I've got a Lex Luthor Classic that I wish I could do, that's written but not boarded. But I had to stop, and I was like really sad. I'm like, oh, it was creating this balance in my life. I was doing something that made me so happy. And for Brainiac, of course, John and Jennifer Newton came back and did voices. I got another voice from the Superman family, and it was just so great. And now I can't do it, and nobody will ever see what I was doing. And Brainiac's ship, because he has a skull ship that he goes from world to world in, I made it like, Art Deco, like it looked almost like the Rocketeer's helmet, but with the brain, and it was when Superman went inside, it looked like Flash Gordon. A Buster Crabbe Flash Gordon interiors, and with Tesla coils and stuff. It was just so cool. And now I can't show anybody that I envision this. So I thought, what am I going to do? I can't do these anymore. And I'm so sad. And then I thought, well, I still really love that 30s aesthetic, and it's so cool. And I did love Flash Gordon. Like, wow, the predecessor to Star Wars, and it's so cool. And maybe it's because it's more obscure, it'd be more fun than if I did a Star Wars fan film, well, I'd be one of like many that did it. But if I did Flash Gordon, maybe, that's a little bit more special. So I got it in my, I'm going to do this Flash Gordon thing. And like with Superman Classic, I've got to take all the great elements of Flash Gordon, like it's got to have Art Deco guns, and it still has to have like Dale. I want to make the girl next door, and she'll be blonde, but then Aura will be the dark-haired, dangerous girl. It's got to have all this fun in it. But then, the 80s movie, I thought it was really great that they made him a football quarterback, because that's not what he was in the original strip. But like, wow, when you really kind of examine what makes Flash Gordon work, it's like, wow, this villain he's got, Ming the Merciless, he's not like Darth Vader. He doesn't have the Force. He doesn't have special powers. What Ming, at least from my point of view, he's a master manipulator. He knows if all these worlds are fighting each other, he can't possibly take them on. But if he gets them to fight each other, he can maintain peace. So who better to unite them would be like a football quarterback. Like, that's a great idea. So I'm going to do like the Flash Gordon that's part Buster Crabbe, but a little bit of Sam Jones. And so I got way into that. And then I thought, well, gosh, I had a real Superman or Superboy doing the voice on Superman Classic. I've got to get a Flash Gordon. So, kind of thinking of that Smallville connection, I looked up Eric Johnson because he had played the bully to Clark Kent in Smallville. And then he was on a sci-fi series, Flash Gordon. So I contacted him, and oh my, what a cool guy. He like agreed to do it. So I got, like, lightning struck again. I got a real Flash Gordon to do this voice, and loved it. Loved doing every minute of it. And there's aspects to it that I like even more than Superman. Just, the whole, the male fantasy of like girls fighting over you, but you're like the star. It's so fun, and exotic locations. Again, like Superman as a comic book is the big game changer, because it was 1938. That was brand new. Like a guy that has superhuman powers and he wears a cape and tights. Like, this is a new thing. Everything that predated that was kind of Indiana Jones. Like, nobody had been on an airplane yet. So it was all these adventures in exotic locations. He'll be in a jungle, he'll be in a desert. And even Flash Gordon had that, like the exotic locations in Mongo, or all these different planets that had different terrains, that George Lucas kind of ripped off for Star Wars. So there's like all this great stuff. And I love Flash Gordon. And I had hoped that, well, maybe what happened with Superman can happen again with Flash Gordon. Maybe King Features will be into this. But, unfortunately, that's not happened. And Flash Gordon's in a funny area now where, I think the last I read, Fox had the film rights to him, but then like Disney has bought Fox, and who knows what's going on with this property? I don't know. And then my take is very old fashioned, which may not fly for what they'd want to do with the IP nowadays. But if you're listening, I'm willing to be flexible. But still, it was done just out of love. And what's great is, you post something on YouTube and it's scary, right as soon as you hit upload, you're terrified. And then when you get all the positive feedback, like everybody's been just so positive about Superman Bizarro and Flash Gordon. And it's just been I've made friends through this. I'm now collaborating with this artist in the UK named Des Taylor. We're working on this new character, Eva Strongbird.
Looks like you could use a hand.
Huh? Oh, right, a hand.
And that came because Des saw these, this animation and contacted me. And so it's just been so positive. And it was the 10th anniversary of Superman Classic last year. And I had to do a Facebook post to kind of acknowledge it. And one thing I said about it was, when Superman punches the camera, that was kind of like me punching cynicism right in the face, with the super punch. And it's just anything you can do to battle that cynicism that is always trying to creep in, and these dark fears that we all have as artists, that we're not good enough or we're not where we want to be. And, we can't let these things stop us, because I don't know how many times we get to go around in this life. Maybe we may only get one time. And don't let these dark thoughts stop you. If you get kicked down, you just got to, like Rocky Balboa said, it's not how hard you can hit, it's how hard you can get hit, and keep moving forward. That's very inspiring to me. You just got to keep going, and always with passion, and always loving what you do. And maybe the reward won't be the one that you wanted. I of course would want a Superman series or a Flash Gordon series, but it's been rewarding in so many other ways. I think I got that Bugs Bunny job because at my interview, they showed Superman Classic and Flash Gordon Classic, and I got hired on the spot. So it may not open the door that you want, but it opens other doors, and you just got to keep doing, things with positivity.
Yeah, I think you did something special with those two properties. And I appreciate you saying all that too. That's inspiring too. As a fellow artist, I have ups and downs, and definitely discouraging times and things. But Rob, I could listen to you for hours.
Oh, thanks, man.
But in the interest of time, I have just one question to ask of you left. I heard you mention Eva Strongbird. Any personal projects kind of going now?
Yeah. So there's always Carman. Carman is very old. I started animating him back in, around 2000. and boarded this whole 7-minute thing, not realizing 7 minutes of animation is like a lifetime for one person to do. But so I set it aside and had done all, Superman and Flash Gordon, and kind of learned, oh, this is how you composite. This is how you make a film. I'm going to go back and polish Carman, but I'll do a minute at a time, and I cut it down. And so I think there are 4 episodes, and to get folks to watch, I want to help people out that are like me, that want to know how to make their own film. So each one has a little tutorial, like, hey, here's how you record voices and then break the track down to animate to you. Here's how you storyboard. Here's how, So please, check those out on my YouTube channel, Robb Pratt, where 2D animation is not dead. And Carman is on there. I have one more episode to do, and then the Carman saga will be complete. And then what I'll do is, I've learned, and it's become more polished as I've gone. I'm probably going to, put the whole short together and give a facelift to the early one, so it all looks as polished as I can make it. So Carman is always there, and I'm always chipping away. And one thing that's great is it's mostly figured out, so it's not hard on the brain. It's just sitting down and now executing. And then with Des, we're working on Eva Strongbird and The Marine. And Des is awesome. Des is a pop artist. He's a big personality, and I love him. He's a fun guy, tall guy. And he drew Eva Strongbird. He drew these 2 characters and named them, and then said, Rob, I have no idea about story. I'm a visual guy. Do you want to partner up on this and come up with a story? And so when I see these 2 characters, I'm like, and he's like, it's World War II era. I know you like that. And it's like, okay, I want to exercise this muscle. I learned about some valuable things about story in my career. I want to see, like, World War II, like a lot of things in history, it's one of those, like, there's before it and there's after it. It's a game changer. And so let's show 2 characters that one is looking forward to when the war is over, and the other one is like, no, I want things to be the way they were. And what happens when these 2 philosophies come together? How can I bring themes in that are relevant to today? And so what we're going to do is, we're making a graphic novel together. I kind of write the story, run things by Des, and Des goes, no, that doesn't work. Or yeah, I like that. Or Des will send me articles about, oh, this article is about, this project the Nazis were doing. Maybe this is something that comes into our story. So he'll give me inspiration. And then I kind of will rough out the panels. Des puts his beautiful work on it. And so I believe we're going to have a really beautiful graphic novel together. And I don't know, it's, you don't get rich off of comics anymore, but it'd be good to have something out there. And if fans love it, maybe it leads to, because I'm an animator, maybe it leads to an animation thing someday. So we're in the midst of that. I've got the whole story. I believe, from watching Twilight Zone and great things, my philosophy is, you don't tell a story unless you know what the payoff is. You have to know the ending. And a lot of those Twilight Zones, the writer would go at the ending. Hey, they'd have to pitch it to Rod Serling. At the end, they say, To Serve Man is a cookbook, and then now they have to write, a story that gets into that ending. And it's so everything makes sense. And that's a little bit of what our story with Eva Strongbird and the Marine is. We clearly know what Eva needs to learn, what the Marine needs to learn. And there is the story is all beaded out. And we know the sequences that get us to this story in a very satisfying way for us. And so now it's just getting it down in panels. And I'd say we're probably, the first third of it is roughed out. And then Des has some beautiful, oh my God, beautiful artwork of the finished panels. So we're really excited about it. And it's just so hard because, career and family. And I admire anybody who gets a side project done, because just getting it done puts you in a separate category from any other artist. Because all of us artists, we're all creative. We all have our half-baked projects, but you got to have the finished thing, So I've proven to Des, I finish, Superman Classic, Flash Gordon, and Carman will be done. We're going to finish. I promise everybody. It's just the time, scratching away at it. But I got a couple panels done today on Eva Strongbird and the Marine. So it's on its way. I hope people dig it. I hope people support it. And I hope people are inspired to make their own art because they see it.